I was sharing with a group recently that our next level of success isn't something we achieve, it's someone we become. And I talk about how the keys to actually become that person is awareness, alignment, and authenticity. And when I was sharing my perception of authenticity, I talked about how it's releasing certain things that really don't belong to us. And one of the things that I mentioned was fear, releasing fear because it doesn't serve us. And I always love in individual or group settings asking for the yeah buts. That is the objections. You hear what I'm saying. What's your yeah, I hear you, but. And I love getting those. I love thinking through those with people. And one of the gentlemen in the room said, well, fear drives a lot of us. A lot of us are driven because we're afraid. And so we've reached this level of success because we're afraid of what if we don't get here? What if we don't maintain it? And it's a really good point. And I think that when we look at fear as a motivator, which again, fear can motivate people for sure. Fear has motivated me. What are other motivators that push us? It's the fear to belong. It's the need to belong. It's so many people have this idea of not being good enough, smart enough, or not having what it takes, and so they prove themselves, and so they reach heights of success to prove themselves. Those are things that 100% I can think of people that they've been driven to great heights of success based upon fear or the ego, the need to belong. And so I'll never debate anyone over whether or not those can be a driver. They totally can. The question is, how long do you want that to be the stick? Because I don't think it's a carrot, it's more of a stick. And at a certain point in time, what we can do is we can dig in deeper. We can dive deeper into having a greater purpose for doing what we do. And when we discover and uncover what that purpose is, then we can go to new heights. And really more importantly, we become a different human being, because when we're being driven by courage instead of fear, or purpose instead of ego, then we become a bigger, better, more evolved version of ourselves. And that's where your next level of success isn't something you achieve, it's someone you become. And by us dropping fear as an example, as a motivator, I'm not saying fear doesn't have its place. I mean, you want to be afraid of, certain snakes and getting in the way of a bull. I'm on a farm, and so I'm thinking like that. I mean, you don't want to cross a highway with oncoming traffic. There's a certain level of fear that's good. There's also, for most of us, we live with a certain amount of fear that no longer serves us, and it's okay to let that go. It's okay to release that and lean into courage, so that we can become that next version of ourselves, which again is a bigger, better, more evolved version that can rise to new heights. And the level of success, if that's what you're after, the level of success, the level of impact that you can have is way more, because you're carrying a different energy, you're carrying a different vibration, and it's going to open up new doors that otherwise would not have opened by carrying fear. So I hope this is helpful. I think that it's important to recognize that it's not about changing who you are. It's really about becoming that person that you came here to be.